Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Hump Day here in studio, and I'm Mark Trowbridge. Welcome to a Wednesday version of our great weekly show. I'm here with the indefatigable Graham Miller. We just spent a few hours together at our Equitable Advisors Businesswomen of the Year Awards, and that was the Thompson twins singing Dr. Doctor in honor of
Doctor Day.
It's Dr. Day. Hug your doctor. Love on your doctor. Check in on your doctor.
But I was married to him, but now we're divorced, so I can't hug on.
Listen, you were too busy playing doctor.
Oh, that's
Did I ever tell you that story when I was, I think I was in the second or third grade, and there was a neighbor girl named Gina Hester. And my older brother was like, oh, with a girl, if you like her, you play doctor with her.
Okay.
And so I went over her house, and, we're from Ohio, so, houses had like finished basements, and usually that's where the kids hung out. It was the rec room, right. TV room, playroom, whatever.
You played doctor?
We played doctor, and her father caught us, and I was summarily discharged. And
you got malpractice lawsuit against you?
No, but I'm pretty sure he talked to my mom about it, and then I wasn't allowed to go over. And then they moved away anyway. And then I didn't see her for a few years. And then my parents were going on a trip, and they were a little bit desperate. And so they're like, oh, you're going to stay with the Hesters.
And how old were you then?
Just a couple years older, probably. And I think Gina was my age, but now Gina was in private school.
Ooh.
And so she wore like the little skirt and uniform.
You like that?
At the time, I think I did.
So speaking
But I was constantly being shamed, and, that is not the way to deal with that situation. I was a precocious, curious, preteen boy.
Okay, so speak about that. Today I love this awards ceremony. It is just, you walk in the room and you feel the electricity.
I will tell you, and I was sharing this with a number of the ladies in the valet on the way out. I said, this is my favorite awards event. And we do 5 or 6, and all of them are wonderful. Our Diamond Awards, our Gem Awards, our Rising Star, our City Beautiful. Chambers are in the business of recognition,
right,
and elevating our businesses. So it's not uncommon that, we would host 5 or 6 of those awards. But what's great about this event is it's individuals that are receiving the awards, not companies. Many of them are representing their companies, correct, or nonprofits. But it is given to an individual because they've excelled professionally, they've been philanthropic, they've mentored women, they've supported women, they've been mentored by women. And so when a person's name is called, at the Diamond Awards, it's, kind of the golf club or the company. At the Businesswomen of the Year Awards, the Equitable Advisors folks, let me tell you, they're on to something after nearly 20 years. They hear the cheers. These women stand up and celebrate. And even if another person, takes the honor home and they don't, they're genuinely happy.
Let's go Be Strong. The winner.
Yeah, Michelle Shirley.
Michelle, it was beautiful because she recognized her team individually.
She did. She went around that table. She talked about how they were broke when she took over in 2005. That room is a safe space. We've had women.
I felt very safe there.
Yes. We've had women get up and talk about loss, sexual trauma,
There's a girl
dealing with tremendous, mental health issues personally or in a loved one, divorce. The veil is sort of pulled back because I think what women are willing to do is say, listen, I've gotten here, but here were the hard stops along the way. Here were the challenging stops. And, I went through a lot of struggles before I got to this point. And Michelle's a great example. And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but we had her on Tro Knows a couple years ago. And she talked very openly about having had a miscarriage, like a late term. And everybody's bawling and she's crying. And you're thinking to yourself, we all have to get up each day and we have a job to do. And even in the most difficult, darkest times, and we're dealing right now with tremendous issues around mental health, more so than we probably have in recent memory. And we as chambers and other business type organizations are talking more openly about that. But I thought the women today, Lauren Dowlin, she recognized the other women in her category, like by name.
That's class.
I
That's
told her,
all.
I said, you know what, Lauren, you're a class act. And then she talked about the people at her table and, you know, who was there lifting her up. Everybody in that room has been lifted up by somebody.
But if a
And
man
people talk
when
about
you have
it.
men awards, they don't do that as much.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons we don't do men's awards, because some people feel like that's every day. And I think secondly, I don't know if men celebrate the same way
No,
or
they don't.
uplift others the same way. They may do it in their intimate friendship circles, but men are a little more competitive. You know, I am in awe when I sit there because I know a lot of these ladies'
Personally, the whole life
backstories.
story. So it's pretty
I know a
interesting.
lot of them because they're connected to the chamber, and you know, I feel their passion as much as I feel some of the pain they share, and they feel very comfortable doing
There was
that.
one girl they were talking about her that she was, I don't want to say kidnapped, but she was on one of those bad trips, and they talked about it. It's like men don't do that. Men just don't do that. Men are egos.
Generally, no. I mean, a few years ago, I was at an event and a gentleman got up and he was running the organization, but he said, you know, I've never shared my story. And he talked about being a victim as a young man of sexual abuse at the hands of a teacher. Now, for people that knew him all these years, shocking that he chose to share that story
at that spot.
At that moment was painful for him. But everybody in the room, like I saw today, you know, they extend their arms and they wrap them around you. So I also think my staff likes this award more because they're all ladies. So
yeah, it was.
I feel like when Erica's there, like she's
she's
very connected to these women because they're working with her for the whole process, and you know, they're inviting their you know, Michelle brought her son.
Right, not knowing she was going to win.
No, she had no idea. We don't say anything in advance. So she's like, I took him out of school. So when the awards program finished, I went over to meet him and I said, you know, you have to go back to school now because it's only like 1:45. He goes, no, I don't. I go, yeah, we're going to just drop you off. We'll see you on Friday. And, you know, they're all laughing. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm just on this planet to torture poor children.
And you do a great job.
Yeah. But you know what? He told me, he goes, I am not going back to school.
So Pam, what's your last name?
Gigante.
Used to be on channel 6. Now she's on channel 10.
She does some freelance work for
all
some
I
of
know
the different
is
media outlets.
Some people look prettier by photos. She is beautiful without film. She just was stunning.
I mean, for years, I would be up at, you know, 6:30 in the morning, and she'd be doing the lead into the Today Show, and then she would do the beauty spots at the, you know, 7:25 and 7:55. And I met her a number of years ago through Ron McGill. They're very good friends, her and her husband, and Ron and Rita. And the one thing that is always the takeaway, and today is no different, she is as real, approachable, kind. She is a gorgeous human being in every sense of the word.
Her speech today was great. She says, my partner, my husband, did great ponytails to my kids. That was like,
talked about her kids, her girls.
No, talked about her husband doing the ponytail.
Yes, but that's the room where that makes a lot of sense. And, you know, she's a great MC because even as of yesterday, we're going back and forth playing with some of the questions because we ask her to not only MC, it's a lot of introductions because we've got 25 finalists. But, you know, we have her doing the interview with Lori.
That was great, too.
And a great job. And, you know, listen, I know people have missed one another and it gets a little loud in the room, but this woman's story, Lori's accomplishments, whew, over the moon. Lori Silvers, ladies and gentlemen, Google her. She founded the Sci-Fi Channel. She's sitting in our room with 220 women of our chamber, talking to them about what they can do, the possibilities. That's what I think makes our chamber special. That's what elevates our organization.
If you didn't go, make sure you plan next year. But you walk into the room and you can feel the power. The power of the purse.
It is quite palpable. That event's coming back in April.
I know. That's why I brought
the
it up.
Women's Fun. They have a new director. I'm having lunch with her tomorrow.
Who's the director?
And I'm going to butcher her name, but I want to say it's like.
Let me say it. I'll butcher it really good. I don't know.
You want to say Mari, but it's like Maria.
Okay, let's go on to some other important
because
things.
it's with a Y. So
Today is National Little Red Wagon Day.
yes. So let me tell you a great story. When I was in, we were in Washington, where Gonzaga is.
You were living there?
No, we were on a road trip from Chicago to Seattle. And we stopped there overnight because we got up and went to like the Gonzaga bookstore. And, you know, I love the Bulldogs, any Bulldogs except Georgia and Mississippi State, and anything in the SEC. And, but they had a really cool public art park, but everything in the park is oversized. So they have this giant red wagon that you can climb a ladder and get up onto. And you look like, you know, the incredible shrinking human in it. But it was really cool to be out there in Washington State. And little red wagon. We had one. It was a radial flyer. I think it was the only time my parents didn't go on the cheap and buy like some knockoff brand.
You know, your mom wasn't cheap.
What do you mean?
She's thrifty.
I didn't say she was cheap. I said they didn't go cheap.
Okay, today's also...
My mother is frugal, is the word she taught me.
Today is National I'm in Control Day.
Yes, well, that's like working at the chamber. You walk in, everybody thinks they're in control.
And today's walk in the park day.
Take a walk in the park. Great day for fresh air. It's a gorgeous day here in
Manatee
Miami.
Appreciation Day.
We love our manatees. What do manatees love more than anything?
Lettuce.
They love lettuce, but they love warm water. Where do they hang out when you're seeing those aerial shots? They're like by, you know, FPL substations because the water's nice and warm.
National Pen Day. Pencil Day.
Pencil. So I'm really into pencils.
Are you?
Yeah. My favorite pencil
is a number 2.
Is a number 2, but it is a black pencil. And maybe Morgan can remind me what I buy, but they're
is
black.
Morgan awake?
Yeah.
And has Morgan
she was
responded,
working today.
Andres?
Well, I know she was going to go have lunch.
Okay. We can delete those 2 on top, whoever that is.
Oh.
You hear me, Andres?
Can we have something? I didn't see it. I don't think it was related to our show.
Right. Okay, let's talk about important things. Did you work out today?
Wednesday is my recovery day. So I worked out. Listen to this. Sunday, I walk with the Consul General of Canada, Susan Harper, my good friend.
Lives in Miami?
Lives in the Gables. And then I drive to the Gables.
How far do you walk?
We walk about 2.5 miles. And we break it up and have breakfast on Giralda Plaza.
You don't go with anybody else, just the 2 of you.
Sometimes people join us. Sometimes Sarah Artacona's joined us, or she has a family member visiting from out of town.
Okay.
Carolina. And then we wrap up around 11.
The mayor of Palmetto Bay, she has pencils for you.
I love it. You know, she is an incredibly accomplished leader and very gracious.
And a hell of a teacher.
And a heck of a teacher. And now, you know, she's advocating for our teachers every single day. And Karen, you know, Grant has written a very exciting letter to the Commission of Miami Springs about the UTD office. Oh, yeah, Ticonderogas, but they're black. And so they have another name specifically.
Speaking about Morgan,
I love
she looks adorable. That little pooch.
What are you talking about? She just had a big lunch.
No, she didn't have a big lunch.
She comes in after the awards and she's like, I'm exhausted. I go, imagine being just regular fat and walking around like I've done for 53 years.
How much weight have you lost?
So I weighed myself yesterday, which I think offends everybody at the locker room because I weigh myself
naked.
I weigh myself right after I've worked out, before I shower. So like more sweat out of me. I'm not taking on any water. And I take the towel off. And I always tell them, put a hook there so I can just stand naked for because it takes a minute for it to calibrate. And people walk by and they're like, oh, dear God.
That's a sight to see.
Yeah. So I'm down to 311.
And what were you a year ago?
A little over 4.
I forget all the time. In the last year, you lost 90 pounds.
Yeah. And then remember, I gained about 12 pounds in muscle mass over the last couple months.
Your waistline's gone from what to what?
I just got fitted for my new suit, and my waistline is down to like a 43, 44.
And where do you get your suit made?
Artigiano. I got fitted for my suit on Monday, and I've got to take it in. The jacket came out perfect, but we have to kind of adjust the pants a little bit. Too big in the leg, and it's kind of pulling on the waist, so they're going to let that in and out a little bit. But yeah, my my waistline when I had my first suit made there a number of years ago was a 56.
Wait, you see what Karen, the Mayor Cunningham of Miami, Palmetto Bay says? I'll give you one to Grant, but unsharpened. Huh.
He's not allowed near any sharpeners. It's a dangerous
She's
tool.
doing a great job at Palmetto Bay.
Great job. And it's not easy being a mayor of a town because everybody wants access to you, and she's super accessible, super friendly, and sometimes you have to disappoint people, and only because you have to follow your lead, you have to follow your heart, you have to follow what the goals are you and your colleagues have set into motion. I was talking to our mayor Lago, a couple of days
Gables.
ago, and he's about to celebrate 1 year in office April 30th. So he's been in office exactly 11 months today. And I can tell you, if you do it right, like Karen does, like Vince does, it's exhausting because you have a day job. These are not full-time jobs. You're working with town or city managers, and you're working with your colleagues. But you're also, you're shopping in the same grocery store where they are. The mayor and Mayor Lago and I were leaving an event last Friday. And, he's been very focused on keeping the downtown cleaner and getting businesses to, pick up in front of their
Be
stores.
part of the team.
Yeah, it's a team effort. So we're leaving this event and we're walking east past Books and Books. And I can immediately see where this new crosswalk was installed a few months ago, that the 2 flower beds are overgrown with weeds and filled with trash. So I go, Mayor, don't look over there. He looks over there. So I go into Books and Books. I get a trash bag from them. The next thing I know, we're down on our hands and knees picking up trash for about 15 minutes. And the best part was people walked by and they said, is that the mayor?
Well,
and he goes, yes, it's me. And help me, keep the city beautiful. So
it sends a message. First, Mayor Cunningham. Morgan is a Palmetto Bay resident. What's Morgan's husband's name?
Well,
Morgan's husband
Ralph.
and Ralph live in Palmetto Bay. And
but what did Karen write there? She goes, Mayor Lago's awesome, yes.
Thanks,
guys. And then there's a hearing tonight. Is tonight the appeal? I thought that was going before the full council, which usually meets on Monday.
No, it's something tonight. That's why. So moving on to the next thing.
You wrote a rather
Miami Springs is a wonderful little town.
Feisty piece.
Okay, so again, this event, I went up to Lewis. What's Louis' last name?
Louis Chappie.
I went up and I thanked him before the show. He is a team player.
Louis is past chair of our chamber, significant community leader, and he's a top dog in his company at Equitable. He runs the whole Southeast. So one thing I would tell you is when I got to the chamber, I guess the Women's Awards were at the March breakfast. So we would carve out 10 or 12 minutes of the program. And I guess we'd give out 2 or 3 awards: entrepreneur, philanthropist, corporate. And the problem was the breakfast would have a couple hundred people at it. But of those, 175 were there for the breakfast because there was a regular speaker.
Right.
Wasn't really synergized like we did today with having Lori keynote and receive an award. So after that happened, and it was my first year, I went to the staff and then I went and saw Louis and I said, listen, we'd like to get you to double your sponsorship and we're going to make this a standalone event. It's going to take a year or 2 to get it done, get it organized, and we'd like to grow the event. Today, now 14 years later, it's its own luncheon. It normally has 250 to 300 people. It was a little bit social distance today at 220, but still very full.
It was very full.
And I would say we've expanded it now to 9 or 10 categories.
Well,
we created the Margaret St. Germain Award to honor our first woman chair. So all of these things are an outgrowth of board members, committee chairs, our staff, and the creative flow that is celebrating the women of our community. And the one thing that Louis did, which I'm eternally grateful for, is he agreed to double his sponsorship. He wanted to take full ownership of it because women are big decision makers in terms of financial planning. And he said, I want to open it to any woman anywhere in Miami-Dade County. They don't have to be a chamber member.
Really?
And we said, you know what, Louis? Let's do it.
I didn't know that.
So there were people today who won the awards who were not chamber members, maybe never have been. You don't have to be Gables based either. Now, many of those who were recognized because the judges are familiar, the 6 judges are very familiar with folks, certainly recognize the local talent. But it was very cool to
Again
see that synergy come together.
I remember back then when it was mixed, but the difference is, again, you walk into the room and bam, it's there. So it's exciting. All right, last comment. We got Karen Cunningham, and Michelle was one of the recipients of today's. Oh yes,
Yeah, Michelle Shirley.
Oh,
she was so funny with her crew there today.
Barbara Jean.
Barbara Jean's kind of involved in our chamber. She comes to like Tronos and stuff.
She's a fire plug.
She is. I one time called her Barbara Jean, thinking she was Haitian, but she was not. Because that is a very typical last name. So
okay, we got so many
faux pas on my part.
All right, so your workout went great. Farmers market's over.
I didn't finish my workout scenario.
Oh, you did? Oh,
I walked on Sunday.
Oh, so you got naked.
I spin on Monday. Yesterday, I have the trainer, and then I walked with little Marco for the first time in a few months.
How old is little Marco?
He's 16 now. He's not so little. He's about my height.
Really? Where's he?
But he's the son of Big Marco, so I call him Little Marco.
So where do they live?
They live down the street from me. So we walked
in Miami Springs.
Yeah, we walked last night about 2.5 more miles. So my legs, because it was leg day, were burning. And and this clown is walking on the bike path and slides off the cart path and like almost twists his ankle. I'm like, can you just walk in a straight line?
Miami Springs, what's the population?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. I don't know. 18, 20,000?
No way.
You think it's more?
Less. Can you Google that, Andres? I hate to bother you.
I don't know. Hate to wake you.
Yeah, hate to wake you.
Andres has got a whole beard going on there.
Okay. So
being with Marco is always a joy because I adore him, but he's a typical teenager. So a lot of anxiety. And
so who's the lady who spoke from UM today? Who's very funny?
Myrna.
Oh, I thought you said
Britney Spears.
How many? Miami Springs population. Myrna was very good today. She stepped in for somebody.
She did. She stepped in for Brittany, who had an emergency.
Right. So she was very good.
But the best part is we had told her to be ready on standby, and then she forgot. 15,000.
Wow.
That was close. I said 18.
Yeah, and they haven't come up with a new one, so you're close.
Yeah, they don't have the new census number, and I'm sure the city knows, but...
Okay, moving on.
It's a bedroom community.
Oh, it still is. It's still everybody.
It's a bedroom community. Think of Coral Gables, 51,000.
I bet it's
3 times smaller, 1/3 smaller.
Do you think Coral Gables is still 50,000?
I've seen the new numbers. Yeah, wow. It's right around 50.
I have to jump back to mayors of small towns. It is tough. 13 and whatever that is. So it is tough to be a mayor of small town. And the problem,
everybody feels like they own you,
right?
And accessible to you.
The mayor of Palmetto Bay, her population's half of Coral Gables, and those people want to be Coral Gables people, so their residents are really tough.
Yeah.
And then Vince's clients, residents, how do they treat them?
I think for the most part, people are pretty respectful toward our mayor. I mean, he has a very different. Mayor Kaysen. Are we still on?
Andres?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We thought we lost all of you. I felt like we were at the Oscars.
Let's talk about the Oscars.
And they clipped off.
Let's talk
Will
about the
Smith.
Oscars. So some people think it was fake. Do you think it was fake?
No, I don't.
But Chris Rock did not even flinch when he got hit. He took the hit. He didn't go down. Wasn't that a hard hit?
I mean, it was certainly an open-handed slap, which, to be honest with you, is not usually how men hit each other. Duel, that's a good term. No, I don't believe it was staged at all. I think emotions run really high in that room. One, they're creatives. Right. Two, he was up for his 3rd Oscar. And to be honest with you, I thought he was more accomplished than Ali than he
Ali.
was in the movie King Richard.
I agree. I loved Ali, but King Richard, I bawled a lot in that movie.
No, and what you
Did you cry at
realize
all?
is, of course, I cry in every movie.
I do
Even
too.
rom-coms, even Life of Pets, Secret Life of
Oh, I don't
Pets.
cry that.
But there are times when a body of work is being recognized as much as a performance. But the Academy is going to have to weigh in, and I think what's going to happen. I'm predicting this here. Are you ready? He's going to be reprimanded, and he's going to be asked not to attend next year, and he's not going to be allowed to give out the best actress.
Is that how it is?
Award
The following year?
Typically, it's you give out the other award. So, like the woman from Minari gave out the award to Coda.
I didn't know that, but Chris Rock handled it pretty well.
Yeah, he actually has talked in his stand-up about dealing with anger. Now he has learned to manage anger a lot more than he ever had in his life. I think getting divorced and being a little bit isolated during COVID, and he sort of spoke out in bewilderment, like, "Oh my gosh, he just hit me!" Like you don't really know how to react. It would have been a horrible moment had he retaliated, because it's always the second guy that gets the flag, right?
Correct.
And I think the show would have ended. I think, what do? You have two people on the floor in fisticuffs.
And the person who was winning the award right then got no
Questlove. Questlove had a tough moment. By the way, The Summer of Soul, which he won for Best Documentary, I saw that in the art cinema.
You don't invite anybody. You just go by yourself.
Listen, it's my one solitary.
Do you get popcorn?
It depends on the theater I'm at.
No.
So if I'm at the Coral Gables Art Cinema, generally no popcorn, but I'll do like a bottled water and like maybe M&Ms. If I'm at the Landmark, I do a soda, a popcorn.
You got good popcorn there?
Good popcorn, and like snow caps.
Wow.
So it really depends on the place, because I'm like Steph Curry. I'm an aficionado of really great popcorn at movie houses. And the last thing I want is the unpopped kernel chaos. My favorite snack is the Smart Food, which is the white cheddar popcorn.
I'll keep that in mind.
A couple of handfuls of that.
I'll keep that. Farmers market, what's happening with that?
End of days, my brother. It ended last Saturday, and
Why?
I was there. That's their schedule through the end of March.
Okay, and then we got
MLK weekend through the end of March.
We got to talk about something really important. UM basketball. That was a great run.
Great run to the Elite Eight, and that first half to punch your ticket to the Final Four. Really, Miami looked really good, and then
Right.
Kansas came out and made all the adjustments.
How about that small college, a population of 2,000?
St. Peter's,
Right.
the Peacocks.
And it was National Peacock Day when they won.
They did when they beat Purdue.
Yeah, it was exciting.
And they were down, 4 or 5 consistently, and then they hit the gas. Basketball's a game of runs, so if the other team goes cold, you have a huge opportunity.
Look who's here, Dave Arbetter.
Dave Arbetter.
Okay, so let's talk about
Trowbridge Tots.
You got a fire concert coming on. You got the walk.
Traffic Fire was last weekend, Friday. It was fantastic. All men's voices performing.
Wow.
No women. Usually it's about 6 and 7. All men's voices.
And then look who we have our favorite guest, George Gonzalez, Mr.
George.
Everything.
Hey, guy.
He's Mr. Everything. And the architectural walk, when is that?
That is our monthly, welcome to the Gables tour that we do out of our Welcome Center. We've been doing it now since October, and we're working on putting together a couple of other tour concepts. And we had, I think, 25 or 26 folks that participated. And, they walk around the city beautiful. 90 minutes, gorgeous day. The temperature was in the 60s on Saturday.
We have a new museum director.
We do. Elvis Fuentes began his tenure last week. I went to his opening reception and got to meet him. He's a little bit more art-oriented, but I'm hoping that'll be a nice complement to the curated programs of the museum.
And that is owned by a good point. Where is my Arbetter hot dogs? Good question.
Is Michael asking that question?
Of course. So you're having a meeting with the president of Miami-Dade, huh?
I had one yesterday. She had a small business roundtable at her office.
What? I was not invited? I guess not.
Apparently not.
I'm
Who
not.
have you upset?
What?
Who
I
have you upset?
I don't know.
I don't know you to be so difficult.
You know what's interesting
But
when
that's because we have a little bromance. Like you got feisty with me the last couple of weeks. I hadn't written anything, so I put pen to paper.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you sat on it for 2 weeks.
No, it got lost. Speak about that. Yeah, Madeline's doing a hell of a job. She's working in the community like a champion.
Yeah, I think she's taken a page out of Dr. Padron's book and made it uniquely hers. Grew up here, went to school here.
Hialeah.
She went to South Campus, played basketball.
Grew up in Hialeah.
And then she rose through the ranks. She started part-time.
And then she went to Tallahassee and came back.
She was chancellor under Rick Scott and the beginning days of our new governor. And then she went to Tallahassee Community College as a provost. So Matt Hartman's talking about Rising Stars tonight. Do you know what that is?
Who's Matthew Hartman? Do I know him?
Matthew and I went to college together. I lived in the Hume area. He lived in Murphy, right, Matthew? You were in Murphy with the boys. By the way, they had the coolest Murphy area council cats. A bunch of dudes. They were all really fun and
your group wasn't
clever.
Fun?
Not in Hume. I don't know why. Maybe because Murphy was a lot older and it was right across from the Purple Porpoise and all the retail.
Purple Porpoise.
Yeah, that was the joint where you needed a fake ID to go in and get a beer. So, what did he say?
MAC rules.
Yes, I think they were like club of. I don't think they're called clubs, but area council of the year, quite a few years in a row. What does he want? Let's have some college stories.
No, please.
My college stories are honestly super boring. Here's why. Oh, I was talking to my little nephew about this last night, Marco, because he's getting ready. Little Marco, not little. He's like 6'2".
Does he play sports or anything?
Used to play soccer. Now he's really into music production. He's very talented. He's also an incredible artist. I had really hoped he would go to New World School, but he tried to go to Dash, and then he got into the IB program at Coral Reef. Very smart.
That's
very
great
smart
school.
Kiddo. So tonight, Matthew, I am taking him to Rising Stars.
No air conditioning where?
In his dorms, because he lived in Murphy. No AC. So it was a little bit less expensive than like if you were in like Thomas. No, not Thomas. Sled or Fletcher, which had AC when I was a student. Now I think every residence hall has air conditioning. So little Marco is my guest tonight, along with Maria Alonso and Andrea Hanley. And his best friend, little Marco's best friend, goes to New World, Danny. And Danny's performing. So we're surprising Danny and going to the show.
Very
so
exciting.
Tonight is the little VIP reception, 6:30. 7:30 is curtain. And so you've typically got the juniors and seniors of the high school and of the college performing. So you have everything from music, dance, theater, straight theater, musical theater, opera, one man, one woman shows. You'll have instruments, you'll have voice. It's one of my favorite things that we do at New World School of the Arts because the students are so uber talented. And not everybody knows that right downtown we have this conservatory education for the arts.
Most people don't know.
And a couple of weeks ago, I went and saw the show for the visual artists that was debuted on the 17th, and got to be there and be part of that program. So, I'm chairing the board this year. And
wait, you're chair of that board. What other boards are you on?
Well, I'm on 4 or 5 boards. It's a little bit chaotic at the moment.
That's all right.
Through the chamber, meaning as my role as president of the chamber, I chair our coalition group. I'm on the board of the Beacon Council and on the board of advisors at Actors Playhouse. And then other boards that I serve on, Children's Trust, I'm the treasurer there. Zoetic Stage, Traffic Fire, I'm on the executive committee. And of course, New World School of the Arts, I'm the chair of the board.
Wow.
So we got a lot going on, brother.
A lot. Okay, we got
7 or 8 boards.
Tro Nodes coming up. When's that? Friday?
Friday, we have Brian Pla from Gentera, where you were at his grand opening back in November. Yep, he's the founder. And Gentera is precision health medicine.
I try to get him to do a little this, a little that. That doesn't go into Medicare.
Well, I'm sure that, just have Michael write your bonus check early.
I think so. And
we can work on what we call your waddle.
Is that what that's called?
On a turkey, it's called a waddle.
Oh,
So
well,
it's just
I
your
feel
man
like-
waddle. So yeah, and so Matthew's daughter is a student there. No, there's no bonus. Don't talk about money.
Is that what Michael said?
Yes, he's yelling at me through the door that's a window.
The fly-in's coming up.
Yep, we're leaving on Sunday. There's a group of about a dozen of our team members, board members, etc. And we'll be meeting. I think we've got about 10 meetings. We're meeting with the U.S. Chamber, Department of Commerce. We're meeting with the city lobbying team. We're finalizing appointments with Senators Rubio, Scott. We've got meetings with Congresswoman Salazar, meeting with Congressman Diaz-Balart, and working on the one with Jimenez.
Oh, good. So you meet with
there'll be about 10 appointments while we're there.
Of your 10 people.
Yeah, that's right. So we got our board today to approve the package.
When you get into the Capitol, do you do the back way or do you go the front way?
So it's a little bit of an unknown. We used to go mostly into the congressional office buildings.
Right.
So we go into Rayburn and meet with Ileana when she was in Congress. And then if we had a meeting in the Senate, we'd go through the tunnels under the Capitol, which are really cool, and take the tram to the Senate side.
Okay. It is unbelievable.
You know, I don't think most Americans ever get to see that.
And there's a room, I don't remember which room, that where the original the Senate was.
Yes.
That had like an echo that you could whisper something here and you could hear it over there.
People wouldn't tell secrets.
Right.
That's the old Senate chambers,
right.
And that really is only accessible now on a tour. And, you know, the Capitol just reopened on Monday, so we're going to be feeling our way through it. You know, there'll be some probably stops and starts, but our group is very, you know, I think very committed to doing this. We haven't been there since 2019.
Who's going?
So we've got Maria Garcia, who's the vice chair over our government legislative, Zach Evangelista, the chair of Business and Government Affairs, Brian Barricat, a past chair of our chamber. We've got Debbie Corge going, who has her own consulting company, Bruce Bounds, who's a local transactional attorney, Deirdre Nero, an immigration attorney, Francesca Valdez from the city. We've got the chief of staff at Nicholas, Dr. Jennifer McCafferty, two of their team members, Sarah Artacona is going, and Shara Caston. And then I know I'm forgetting somebody, and I apologize because I shouldn't ever do this.
Morgan, wake up.
Memory. But we have a great group. And then we're trying to get a meeting with our friends at FIU in DC. We've reached out to Carlos Becerra. But it's going to be chilly, but not cold.
Has anybody reached out to the Surgeon General? That's a Palmetto High School grad.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know that person?
Ron McGill does.
I would love to meet with the Surgeon General. Ron, I'm going to text you.
Yeah, he went to.
It might be late to ask, but
never know.
You never know. All they can say is no.
That's correct.
And then, like I said, we just met with the SBA here, so we're probably not going to meet with them up there.
You know the newscaster with his politics, Todd.
Todd Lundgren?
No, Todd. He's the national.
Todd Tongan?
No, not local. National. Todd.
Oh, Chuck Todd.
Chuck Todd. He went to Killian.
Yeah, I know Chuck Todd.
Do you know?
I don't know him, but I've seen him here when he's done a fundraiser for like the JCC.
People say nice things about him.
Well, you know, it was a tough role because he took over for Tim Russert, who died suddenly. And they had, David, I forget his last name, in between, and then turned it over to Chuck.
Yeah, Dave
Meet the Press is amazing show.
Yes, there are tunnels under the Gables chamber.
I want to tunnel out of my bathroom sometimes when I'm like, had enough.
Okay, so you got the runs coming up too.
Yep. Want to make sure everybody knows that the 25th anniversary of the Doctors Hospital 5K, 10K Tour of the Gables is April 23rd. So it's a little more than 3 weeks away. We're going to have a cool commemorative shirt and a commemorative medal for those that sign up and register. And what we do different than most of our peers is it's a 5K or a 10K. I know a lot of folks want to have a little longer training run on a Saturday. We've moved the event up into April, so it's a little bit cooler than it would be when it's normally in May. This is the 25th year that we've partnered with our friends at Doctors Hospital. So thank you, Javier.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. Thank you, Jose Romano. I want to thank Elsa. She has moved on to greener pastures.
Where is she?
I don't think we're ready to announce that yet.
I mean,
she's got a new gig, and she's been a great member of ours.
And she has great shoes.
Always great shoes, yeah.
So
Whose tie? Are you liking my tie? This electric blue? You know, I almost didn't wear this. This is a Joseph A. Bank tie. And what I love about this tie is that it's one of the few ties that really goes with this suit that is a pinstripe. So it's got a gray pinstripe and then an electric blue stripe through it as well. You know, I wear a lot of stripes so that, you know, it kind of thins me out.
we
So
need to make sure we talk about the Small Business Summit.
we do.
It's coming
May the
up.
6th coming up.
Who's the chair? People, you got a bunch of them, right?
So Lillian Sir is the chair of that committee and the presenting sponsor, and she's got a big group working with her. The program is planned. We have our 7 keynote speakers.
When are we going to start? And I'm talking about.
I think we did a save the date that's going out. Is that right,
There it
Morgan?
is.
That's for the 5K. Flock to the starting line. We're using flamingos as our look this year, 25 years. We've got Dr. Tony Villamil. We're having a conversation on cryptocurrency. We have a speaker talking to us about taking your business digital. We have Morgan's going to have to help me out. We got, I think, 7 speakers confirmed. U.S. Chamber, Tom Sullivan, Small Business Policy. I mentioned the crypto.
Come on, Morgan. While you're
Got
doing
a great group.
while we're doing that, your Instagram is growing. I think it grew another 100 in the last 2 weeks.
I know it's at 6350 or so.
6351.
Oh, sorry. I love the hand ticking on the. Oh, on my jacket. Yeah.
You don't remember Steinfeld?
Yes.
That's what he's talking about. You know, he's a Steinfeld freak.
I love Seinfeld. Here's the best part. It's got like a cool like lining.
I like this lining.
Has my name in it. See
yeah.
there. Tro.
Is this say Tro?
It says Mark Trowbridge.
Okay, so
Tro.
Instagram is growing. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I remember when it was 2,000.
I remember when it was like 200. Can I tell you a funny Instagram story?
Absolutely.
So I never had Instagram. The chamber had Instagram. So I really couldn't even keep an eye on our Instagram.
Right.
But it was something that we were growing, something that, the younger people were into. So, Morgan and others. And one day I'm in
Morgan,
my
he still
office.
thinks you're young.
I'm in my office and I had been at an event. Oh, there's the lineup of speakers. And I apologize if I missed anybody. Yes, Chris, of course, Kali on HR. Really great group. Alejandro Aguirre, I talked to him about the digital. Dave, I need a few more of my tots. I was telling Grant I'm down to like 311. So my goal is to get down to 270. So I've got another 40 pounds or so. These are the hard ones. But I've gained a lot of muscle mass and a lot of tone. Those planks.
They do it.
Kill me. 45 seconds, 3 in a row.
So today I'm at your event or our event.
Yeah.
And I go, God, I looked in the mirror. I go, who's that fat guy? Not you. It was you, then me. I was talking about me. You look so slim, and I got my big gut out.
I think it's the pinstripe. I think it's the hand ticking.
And the shirt's too tight. I got to be
Wasn't
careful.
it Kramer that talked about that? Or was it George's dad? Sounds like something. True story. I took a screenwriting class when I worked at UM many years ago. And the teacher who taught it was the president of the Writers Guild, a guy named Carl Gottlieb. And he used Seinfeld as kind of the gold standard of sitcoms. Because Seinfeld followed the Larry David model.
Correct.
3 stories, all in parallel that merge at the end, every episode. So Elaine's got something going on. Kramer, maybe George, maybe Jerry's floating around, but everything's moving
right, same direction.
in that same direction, including even the grand finale. But so it's pretty good. It was Elaine. Oh, she was trying to be, a little snobby.
Okay.
What was the name of the publishing company
that she worked for?
that she worked for?
I don't know, but do you remember when she couldn't fire the guy, so she promoted him and he ended up being the boss?
Yes. She worked for that crazy guy who used to cut his Snickers.
Right. So, goals for March. Trustees.
So we close the month tomorrow.
So Jennifer has a chance to sell 3 more?
Yeah, I think we were at, yep, that's exactly right. Pendant. I was going to say penguin, but pendant. It almost sounds real. By the way, I always think that would be a business I'd like to be in. I'd like to be a book editor and publisher. I love to read. I love books.
Speak about that before we start wrapping up about your
but
trustees.
Was I going to finish on that?
Yeah, about trustees.
So we're at 27 that were sold as of like 10 a.m. this morning. The goal, of course, is to be on average at 30. So I know Jennifer wanted to close 4 more business members. So if you're thinking about it, we're running a promotion right now Business members, $475. We waive the fee. It's $50 off the rack rate. You can join with one representative. But Jennifer's about to celebrate her 1-year anniversary. She brought in so far 7 trustees this month.
Jennifer, congratulations.
That's huge.
But Jennifer, the day is not over. Tomorrow you can sell 2 more, correct?
Oh, no, I keep telling her that, and she's always making fun of me. Like,
Jennifer, 2
she
more.
wants to hedge for next month. March is a very long month. I mean, we had almost 5 full weeks.
Well, it's 3 days more than February.
You know, not only that, but just the way the weekends fall, because March 1st was a Tuesday. So you had 4 in that week, 5, 5, 5, and 4. That's a long month.
Well, listen.
You know, most months have 20, 19 days. This had 23.
That's great. More days to sell. Chamber, is it rocking and rolling?
You know, I think people see the value in what we're doing, how we're connecting. I think people also recognize that we have been here all along. There were no days off. There were no days where we were closed. And we've just continued to push that. And I do think people vote with their feet and they vote with their heart, and they want to support organizations who've been there for them. So today we celebrated our ladies. But, you know, Friday we'll be talking with a company founder and what his story and his journey was. And then we're rocking and rolling into April. And April's a busy month. Not only the Doctor's Hospital Run, which is a big chamber event, but we've got our fly-in and, of course, all of our traditional months, our activities for the month. Trustee reception, etc.
So you wrote a great article. When are you going to write a new one? Another one for us?
My goodness. First of all, I wrote that, and then you lost it.
I didn't lose it. I misplaced it for a few days.
How's that even possible?
You know, how is it possible? Grant Miller.
That's a very unusually tall bottle.
Big cheese.
Very
Did Michael,
nice.
did you eat a big cheese today?
This is what I'd like to do. I know we talked about this, but I want you to host a trustee event here. You know, one of the things that is great about you all is that you're a multi-generational family business. You're also quite the land baron here.
Oh, yes.
Third, and most importantly, you know, we're longtime partners. And we want to give you an opportunity to be a partner with a chamber of substance.
Oh, speak about that.
And an active group. And so we want to have Dave come out. We want Big Cheese to come out.
Anna Capri,
Joe, and do a little catering for our trustees and GEM members.
And we can do it live right here. Bring everybody in.
And everybody can come in one by one. And I know our members so well that I can do a little thing on each one of them. I can tell you a little story on each one of them.
One of your customers was walking out today. Their business did $100 million in 1 week in residential sales in 1 week.
I'm sure.
Patrick,
Right
I'm not going to say
now-
who it was, but Patrick had to hurry up and leave.
What I will tell you is that as of 2 weeks ago, there were only 48 houses for sale in the Gables. Now, that is
Out
a
of how
dearth.
many?
Well, just of all the households, there's like 19,000 households. 48. How many of those were under $1 million?
How many?
4.
Oh, they're bread boxes, probably.
It's just incredible. The bidding wars, the cash wars, you name it.
Well,
So, you know, people, a guy texted me and he's like, oh, are you interested in selling your house? I'm like, well, where am I going to live?
you live in probably back before you moved there 20 years ago. Miami Springs was no man land, but the truth of it is in the center of Dade County.
Yeah, I mean, I can get anywhere in less than 20 minutes. So if I want to go out to Doral, 10 minutes. If I want to come to work, 20 minutes. You know, downtown Miami or let's say Design District, 15 minutes. And, you know, generally it flows in the opposite way of traffic. The only time where it's really busy is if I leave the office right at like 5 o'clock and drive home. It gets a little bottleneck there by the airport, especially on a Friday.
Is Jennifer's birthday coming up? I just read that.
I can't read that. I think it's her anniversary with the chamber, which is what I said to you. And she says
Great birthday advance.
the greatest birthday advance gift now can give. I can't read it.
That's all right. You don't need to put it up. Jennifer's just pushing.
I didn't bring my glasses in, and it's a tough road to
Okay,
hoe.
so if you're going to join a chamber, tell us a few things you got to do.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of chambers and there's a lot of choices out there. I think of it like air travel. I love when the captain gets on at the end and says, "We know you have a lot of choices, but thanks for flying with us today." I feel the same with our chamber. You have a lot of choices. There are a number of chambers, not only in Miami-Dade County, but even other types of networking focused organizations. But I think if you give us a shot, we had a referral this week from another chamber to Jennifer, and she wrote me a note and said, this person reached out. They talked to somebody else. They suggested, no, you're probably a better fit for Greater Miami. And your first thought is, well, what does that mean? I'm sorry, for Coral Gables. That was the other chamber that did the nice referral, was Greater Miami. And I thought to myself, well, what does that mean? Is it maybe we have a different angle or a different focus? I think what it means is that, we all value the work that each other does. But at the end of the day, we're in the business of supporting our members. And I have no doubt that our members see that every single day.
I have to answer George Gonzalez. You're absolutely correct. He lives 10 minutes from Doral, and he's less than 4 minutes from Hialeah.
I should have mentioned Hialeah for two reasons. One, there's where the CVS is right across the bridge there on Okeechobee, and a great restaurant that I love called Fresa Francesa, which is a little French hole in the wall, which, sometimes you can't get in there. They have the best croque madame and French onion soup in the business. I love French food.
Okay, just want to make sure. So if you're going to join a chamber, get involved. There's a lot of committees.
Yeah. Don't just sign the dotted line and submit a check. Join a committee. Doesn't matter whether it's us or someone else. Most chambers are built on the backbone of engagement and involvement. And while, some may have different kind of committees than we do, there is something for everybody. And I always tell everyone that listens, go and visit 2 committees of the chamber. Something for you and your business, something for you and your own personal development.
I have to give one shout out to one of our favorite county commissioners today.
Raquel Regalado was there today, did a beautiful thing by bringing gifts and proclamations for all of our winners, and presented those at the end. And I know that was very appreciated. A lot of swag today.
Oh.
Flowers, plaques, awards, you name it. Delicious.
I did my job. I walked the plaques up.
You did a great job. You took them right out of that young lady saying, you are a gentleman.
Well, she's stronger than I am.
Well, that I have no doubt.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much. Can we have some music, Maestro?
Oh, yes. I love music.
Okay. Oh, wait. George Gonzalez, come in.
I looked at him and I'm like, how is he there and how is he here? Well, this is a little preview.
Come over here, George.
This is a little preview of the event we're going to do here in a couple of weeks. So George is our most committed, active viewer. He always is in conversation with us. He always knows the latest restaurant. So have you been to Callista, the new Greek restaurant?
No, I haven't. Where is it?
So that is on Giralda Plaza. We got to get Maria and Costa to join the chamber. But we are working on it. Let me tell you 2 things I've eaten there that are over the moon delicious. They're Greek salad, so fresh and so bright. And then secondly, they're meatballs. They're I think they're called keftedes.
I think I'm going to go right now.
Oh my gosh. Maria and Costa, we're going to get you to join, and we love you. And we got lots of other great new places coming in. Our first barbecue place coming into the Gables called, I think it's called Dickie's, something like that. And then we've got, other things coming through. So
is it true?
You and I do not miss meals, my friend.
No, not at all. Let me ask you, have you heard any update on the restaurant that's supposed to be coming up soon at the old open stage?
Yes. I can tell you it's a Michelle Bernstein concept.
Yes.
And she and her husband, David, are revising, reinvigorating, reimagining a previous concept. And I don't know if that's fully public yet, but let's just say it starts with Mrs.
Excellent.
And I think people are really excited. And so they signed a lease deal with the city of Coral Gables for the open stage space. There's a lot of work to be done internally in there. But it was a restaurant prior and did have, full kitchen. But we're looking forward to that. And the sooner they get in there, the sooner we can celebrate Michelle. She just got a James Beard nomination for her bar program at Cafe La Trova. We have 2 other James Beard nominations in Coral Gables. We have Pablo at Zitsum, which is amazing for best new restaurant.
Love it.
Amazing dim sum. And our friends at Mame, Niven was nominated for Geek Kitchen, but of course he has Mame and Orno. And think about it, in Little Coral Gables, you've got all these amazing, and let me not forget Antonio Bashur for best pastry chef. So, I mean, can you imagine if we go 4 for 4? They're going to be eating out of our hands, literally. So,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen, George has paid us a personal visit. Grant has disappeared, as always, at the end of the show. And we say thank you for a great day.
Dance with me.